Hello, ladies and gentlemen, it's a Golden Gem Games here, and I have a surprise for you. Get ready to meet a few of my
Original characters.
Oh, so now you call them that?
Shut up!
This is Model WEX, otherwise known as Zato. Zato generally talks without slang, and also likes to take many things very literally. He also has a strong belief in freedom for everyone. He is okay with villains being arrested, but it is something that does sometimes bug him. He's also quite polite, and also very loyal to his friends. Zato was created by Dr. Waco in a secret lab known as Area W, found on a lone asteroid. He spent a lot of his early years working for Dr. Waco as a slave. The master computer has a program that keeps them in check, including two other models, WEY and WEZ, were also at the lab. One day an accident occurred where the master computer was damaged, caused their free will to be unlocked, and they rebelled. Waco manages to escape, and WEY ends up being destroyed by WEZ in a battle. Zato escapes, and spends a long time trying to find discovery on what exactly he is and what to do next. One thing Zato does know for sure is that Dr. Waco and WEZ, aka Xerxagor, are undoubtedly evil. Xerxagor has been causing a lot of terror since his release and has become an emperor of his own empire. Zato hopes one day that he'll be able to take care of both his creator and his brother. Each of Waco's inventions were all built with different mindsets. Zato was designed for conservative energy. His nitrogen battery is able to last him several months, where he's able to fight before needing a recharge. This design philosophy is the opposite of Xerxagor, who has a much shorter battery time, but a much higher power output. Zato's main ability is that his left hand is able to attract objects, and his right hand is able to thrust them away. Of course, being a machine means Zato has tons of data about fighting styles and other things related to fighting, making him quite adept at close-hand combat. Zato's body can move fast enough to evade an attack from a foot away going at 90 miles an hour. However, his scanners can detect movement of much higher speeds, almost light speed, so his reactions are actually faster than his body can move. Zato also has thrusters on the palms of his feet. The power of these thrusters is enough to propel him 2 stories up from the ground. However, after every use, there is a few seconds where it has to recharge before you can do another thrust. Sometimes these thrusts can be used to move faster or to jump to places. He possesses a strong alloy. It has a very high heat capacity and is damn near bulletproof. Good luck shooting a hole through him. At some point in Zato's journey, he meets a Listry doctor who decides to give him an upgrade. This upgrade is referred to as turbocharged mode. In this mode, his eye colors invert, and his arms and legs get a subtle glow of energy running through them. In this form, his attacks have become way more potent than before, and through training, he learned a new ultimate attack called the X-Cross. The X-Cross is a red energy in the shape of an X that is able to cut just about anything in its path. It is a very powerful attack, but is also very costly, as it burns about half of Zato's battery in one use, and after using it, he's reverted to his normal state, and his systems need a bit of time to recharge, leaving Zato vulnerable. Thank you, Jared, for this opportunity. I hope the fans like us. Next up, we have Selene. She is what you would call the competitive type, always trying to win at whatever game she is playing. She also hates cheaters. She has a tendency to be very rude to new people she meets, except for kids who she has a soft spot for. She tends to take her fighting a little too seriously, spending most of her time training or doing a mission for the organization. Otherwise, she usually isn't that interested in other activities. Which I'm 95% sure includes this very video. I guess I'll say this now, but the 5 characters here are all part of Zato's group, known as the X Squad. They used to be a squad back when Zato recruited them before they joined the organization. Despite having different positions in the organization, they still sometimes do missions as a group, just like old times. Selene is often shown being very competitive towards Pyro, who also has a bit of competitive spirit. They compete in all kinds of things, and she usually wins, but whenever she loses, she gets very salty. She also likes to diss on Nist for being lazy. Ah yes, Planet Mostrin, the place to be if you were a martial artist. Her being raised there, it's no surprise. She grew up around fighters, and she wanted to become one too. She was a total prodigy and aced all the exams. Everyone was baffled by her quick learning and high skill at such a young age. Her talents were noticed by a legendary individual. His name was Solos, and he was the reigning champion of the Malstron Combat League. He was renowned for his incredible speed. He had a special technique known as soul stepping, which made him move so fast he was dubbed the Invisible Man, because the naked eye could not track his movements. Under his teachings, her full potential could truly be unlocked. She became so good it scared everyone, and one fateful tournament years later, she actually managed to beat Solos in the finals. Ever since then, Solos stopped competing, and she became the new reigning champion, and has yet to be defeated. Selene is, without a doubt, a master of the arts, at least arts that are taught on Malstron, though she has learned a few arts from outside her culture thanks to Solos, since he knows a pretty wide array of them. She even learned soul stepping, but was never able to reach the same invisible status as her master. When it comes to fighting, her strength and her durability aren't too special. Selene is mostly known for her speed. In a similar vein to Solos, she fights very well at high-paced fighting, usually too fast for her opponents to keep up, leading to their defeat. Although her soul steps aren't as good as her master's, she still becomes a blur for the opponent, making it really hard for them to anticipate her attacks. Whenever she feels the need to, Selene has a signature move, known as the Luna Cyclone. She runs circles around the opponent so fast it creates an updraft of air that lifts them right off their feet, allowing her to get in free shots. Selene does have a weakness though, her stamina. Long drawn-out fights do not suit her very well, as she tends to tire herself out. In-tournament bouts never seem to last long enough for this to matter though, but during missions, when fighting many criminals, it can take a toll on her. Her stamina issue becomes more apparent when using her signature move or using a lot of soul steps. Perhaps she just has bad cardio, like yours truly.
Speak for yourself. All you do is sit around the chair all day. I apply myself every day.
Yeah, sorry, I just can't do a female voice to save my life. Not even close to what she's supposed to sound like. If you want to support me, you can, with good old Patreon. I don't have any patrons yet, but I'm sure it will change someday. Right?
Oh yeah! It's Pyro Test!
Pyro, you're interrupting me.
Oh, sorry bro, sorry!
No, it's fine. Time to continue. This is Pyro, and he is quite impatient. Pyro has a lot of energy and is quite hot-blooded. He is also competitive, but unlike Selene, losing doesn't bother him one bit. He just chills and laughs it off. He also seems to have an easy time making friends. He also has a strong bond with almost everyone in the organization. Almost. Pyro also likes to criticize Igni for his serious nature, telling him he needs to be more carefree, like himself. At some points, Pyro is a little goofy. At other times, he's an utter dork. He's also the kind of guy who loves to announce his attacks when battling. Pyro is a Crispy from the planet Crisp, a planet full of hot magma and volcanic activity. The Crispies and the Lystries from planet Listo have been at war for centuries, known as the Temperature War. No one can actually remember who initially instigated the war, but nonetheless, it rages on. Like most Crispies, if you mention the war to them, they usually reply with disgust or anger. Pyro is just more disappointed than anything else. In a similar vein as Selene, Pyro was a prodigy. He was quite strong and was able to fend off Lystries every time. But what made him very famous was the one time a group of elite soldiers from Lystri ambushed them and Pyro managed to fend all of them off by himself. After that, Pyro was seen as a hero. It was this event that caught the attention of Zato and the organization. They went over and recruited Pyro. Pyro was hesitant to leave though, because his brother Bunsen and his son Spark just didn't have the same fighting capabilities as him, but he decided to leave anyway. I probably don't need to clarify this, but to hell with it. His rocky exterior does make Pyro more durable than a man with skin would. Pretty obvious, eh? Pyro's main weapon is his natural heat. This heat intensifies the higher the temperature. On his home planet, Pyro is a force to be reckoned with, but on a cold planet, he isn't too hard to take down. Pyro's go-to move is known as Heat Geyser. This move involves him emitting jets of boiling hot air at the opponent. This should be obvious to people, but the closer you are to Pyro, the more intense the heat the opponent will feel. This principle is amplified with another one of Pyro's special moves. If you're on a very hot planet, he's able to envelop himself in an 8-foot radii of heat. This heat is so intense it may just cause you to catch on fire. This move is referred to as Heat Zone. If things go south, Pyro does have one last ace in the hole. His finishing move, known as Pyro Cycle. This move, obviously, isn't very effective in a cold location, so yet again, being warm is good. This move involves Pyro rotating his left arm so fast that his hand appears to turn into a fiery ring. After a few seconds of winding this up, it turns into a gigantic punch of immense power. This strike could launch the opponent several yards away, preferably into a wall. As long as the location is relatively warm, Pyro proves to have quite the stamina, able to fight in prolonged battles, continuously throwing more geysers one after the other. Ow! Thanks a lot, J-Rod. Say hello to Igni. He is a strong mob from the planet Mineral. He is easily the most serious of the group, and also has high expectations for himself, often being frustrated when not meeting these high standards. He is what you'd call a no-nonsense type of guy. He takes his missions seriously. In fact, he takes them so seriously, he often stresses himself about the success of the mission, and it sometimes comes at the cost of his friend's safety. Despite his seriousness, Igni tries his best to be flexible with others, but finds it very difficult. Igni shows respect to Zato due to his clear thinking and quick decision making, while on the other hand, he often criticizes Pyro for not taking things seriously. Although Igni's early years aren't worth mentioning, a terrible attack on his native domain happened when he was an adult. 3 top executives of the infamous syndicate known as Kill destroyed everyone except Igni. Igni was only lucky enough to not be in town during the raid. After this tragic event, Igni decided then and there he would be a hero. so that he could avenge all of the lives that were lost. He vows one day to find and take out those 3 executives, as well as the rest of the syndicate while he's at it, including their leader. Igni may be sluggish in his movement and doesn't know any fighting styles. What makes up for that is his incredible durability. He's able to take some pretty strong attacks with minimal damage, including street level moves. Because of all of this, Igni opts not to be very offensive in battles, and generally likes to be the shield for the team. Whenever Igni is going to attack, he utilizes his immense weight of over 1,000 pounds to throw hard strikes or to squash the enemies. Unlike his hard exterior, his interior body is far more susceptible to damage.
Are we done here? I have things to do.
Just thought I'd pop in and tell you that I am no artist. My drawings are pretty simplistic, not very good at all. So, I would love to see these drawn better by someone else someday. Let's see if my fans care enough for that. Enough of my ramblings, let's get back to the video. This here is Nist, a Zaskin from Wimshar. And let me tell you, I had a really hard time drawing him, because I tried doing some diagonal perspective there and completely failed. So I'll give some clarification. He's supposed to be leaning forward in a slouch because that's how his body's designed, his hands often drooping down as low as his knees. Not only that, but his hair are meant to be more like silver blade-like hair. In fact, it's actually one of his weapons he uses to attack enemies by swinging it at them. I didn't do too good of a job at making it look like that though. And the hair is meant to go down the back of his neck and part of his back, which again doesn't look right in this image. Nist is quite lazy and often says things like, "It's not my problem." He also likes to entertain himself by poking fun at others. Nist also really doesn't appreciate it when you point out that he's lazy. He gets really annoyed. However, during a mission, he becomes a very different person, one that actually cares about the situation and becomes proactive. Nist carries with him a high amount of pride for his magical prowess. He often gets insulted when others don't think it's as cool as he says. His pride can have downsides, however, as he tends to brag and showboat to his enemies a lot about how cool his magic is. His reasons for being a hero is his sense of justice, and that he believes it will make him a stronger wizard. Nist has always had a big interest in magic. Even since he was nothing more than a mage, he studied and studied and studied all day, every day, to learn all the spells he could and become great at them. Nist was never seen as anything too special on Wimshar, however, being just that one kid that studied a lot. But his reputation has changed since becoming a hero at the organization, becoming more famous. For currently unknown reasons, Nist seems very hesitant on visiting his home planet or his family anymore. On the physical side of things, Nist is pretty pathetic. He cannot throw a punch that's effective whatsoever, and his defenses are pretty weak. He is pretty nimble on his feet though, and has become quite good at evading attacks. But what really matters is his magical prowess. As stated before, his hair is like silver blades, so he can cut the enemies with them. Not only that, but those shoes he's wearing are not just for show, as they also make him immune to electrical shocks. Naturally, Nist can cast a wide array of spells. Healing, protection, or some kind of elemental attack. It doesn't matter, he can do it. His more powerful spells require a longer chanting time, not to mention that to use any magic at all requires concentration, so if he can't concentrate, he becomes pretty useless. Unfortunately for Nist, he is a little too reliant on his magic working. He often panics when it doesn't. Another thing that makes Nist powerful in battle is his mind, as he is a master at mind games and tactics, causing the enemies to become their own worst enemy.
Well, this video sure took you long enough. Do you want to see a magic trick?
If you like this video and want to see more from me, please subscribe and hit the bell for all notifications. This is Golden Gem Games, and I promise to do a gaming video next.